All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 5th clAIRity meeting for this summer during a period of time between June and October that we have branded as odor season. This meeting here is in the afternoon and trying to pick up a different demographic of our community. We have done, like I said, we've done 5 of these scheduled meetings to try to get the word out to the community about what we are doing for odor response and odor mitigation in the sewer system, and also give folks an opportunity to ask us questions. We have a lot of our staff here that is available to answer any questions that folks may have. And the one thing that I think is very clear is that, we are definitely made this a priority for us. We have also been working over the summer, working with the Air Pollution Control District to try to improve our processes. We've entered into an amended agreed order with the Air Pollution Control District that has a lot of different project initiatives and a lot of different outreach and communication that we will continue to do beyond this meeting. But we like to start with just by saying that MSD is 3 utilities in one. We do wastewater treatment, stormwater and drainage, and also flood prevention for Louisville and Jefferson County. And I think a lot of times people don't understand the complexity of our operation. So we like to start off with a little video that just tells everybody about MSD.
MSD, ensuring safe, clean waterways for Louisville and the surrounding region. MSD does more than you might realize to protect the health and safety of our communities, and the work is really quite extraordinary. It is our mission to provide quality wastewater, stormwater, and flood protection services to protect public health and safety. Let's talk about MSD's 3 key services. First up, wastewater treatment. This is the water we send down the drain from sinks, showers, tubs, and toilets. MSD treats more than 170 million gallons of wastewater every day. Water quality treatment centers ensure that the water meets or exceeds regulatory standards before it's released back into local streams and the Ohio River. Next up, stormwater management. What happens when we get heavy rains or after it snows? All of that water has to go somewhere. MSD makes sure the runoff flows into drainage channels to underground pipes that transport water away from homes and businesses and into area creeks, streams, and the Ohio River. Now let's talk about flood protection. MSD flood protection infrastructure includes 29 miles of flood wall, 16 pumping stations, 150 floodgates, and 80 flood wall closures. It all works together, keeping the community safe when river waters rise. MSD also closely monitors water quality within the system to make sure pollutants don't contaminate our waterways. Plus, the innovative technology and engineering of MSD's waterway protection tunnel and underground storage basins further protect our community from dangerous overflows and pollution. There's more to MSD than you imagined, right? MSD is dedicated to our community's health, a cleaner environment, and a better quality of life for all area residents, today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
So that was a great video about what we do, and just to kind of reiterate, in wastewater we treat approximately 155 million gallons a day. We do have 5 water quality treatment centers here in Jefferson County. We are also a regional provider of wastewater to Bullitt County and Oldham County as well. And stormwater and drainage, we have over a 376 square mile drainage area, and our flood protection system protects about $34 billion of property within Jefferson County. Our clAIRity program is something that we started probably almost 2 years ago, just to try to get more information out to the community about what we're doing about odor response. And we do know that this program has raised awareness in the community. We are getting responses from the community, and we have learned how we can be better in terms of being more responsive, doing more things to address odors in the system. The number one issue that we deal with odors in our system is H2S, hydrogen sulfide, which is a natural result when sewage and other materials decompose in the system. It's a natural byproduct of wastewater treatment. And a lot of times folks may notice those odors near our treatment plants or pump stations or in catch basins along the street that take in stormwater drainage or creeks and streams. Now, one thing that we have learned about our clAIRity program, because we tell people if you smell something, call us, it's almost like we have owned or bought every odor in Jefferson County. And the fact is that there are non-MSD sources of odors. You are very familiar with the Rubbertown area and other areas where we know that there are other sources of odors that MSD is not responsible for, including any type of odors that may be coming from garbage containers or those type of things that we respond to, and that's where the odors are coming from. But in our operations, we do a lot of things to try to address odors every day. In our operations, there's smaller type of things that we do. This is an example of a carbon canister where air is moved through an activated carbon canister and odors are absorbed onto the carbon. We have a lot of these systems that we use every day, and we have been using them for decades. On a much larger scale, we introduce chemicals such as bioxide at our pump stations to try to help mitigate the formulation of H2S in the sewer system. And we also, at some of our larger facilities, we use biological scrubbers. And that is where the air is blown up through a packed bed of media to reduce odors. So these are the mitigation methods that we do every day. We have a biofilter that we use at a lot of our facilities, and that's where air is blown up through wood chips to mitigate the odor through natural oxidation. We have one project down at our main diversion that our internal crews just completed over the last couple of months, which is an upgrade and a rehab of a similar system there that saved us a lot of money internally, and just a lot of our operations team has done a great job. Our engineering team, our manager, Joe Exley of our dry program, Tony Morrison in his shop, Mike Griffith is in his shop. They've just done a phenomenal job of being responsive and addressing odors in wastewater treatment at our treatment plants. Damon Talley has done a great job as well, along with Robin back there. Robin, I see you. Thank you for coming today. We have been tracking odor complaints over the last couple of years, and we use this as sort of a dashboard. We call it our hot map. You can see kind of on this map, this is an illustration from January of this year to September, and actually just got some fresh numbers today just to kind of give you a comparison. From January of 23 to October 23, we had about 1,800 odor complaints. This year in 2024, those numbers are down approximately 25%. We've had about 1,400 odor complaints for the same period. Some of that is some of the things that we're doing. Some of it is some of the rain that we've gotten periodically that does a great job of flushing out the system. But the one good thing is that we've seen a reduction, and we know that if we continue to do everything that we're doing, and I'll talk about some of that in a second, we know that this is going to help reduce odors. But we know where the hot map is, and this yellow kind of shows you a dense area of where most of the odor complaints are. Even though we know there are odors all over Jefferson County, these are the dense areas that we are focused on. We are focused on that area because of Morris Forman. Morris Forman is our largest treatment plant, largest in the state. And this kind of gives you a highlight of the watershed or the drainage area of Morris Forman. It is a combined sewer system taking on wastewater and stormwater. And so we know the priority area for us is the Morris Forman Water Treatment Plant. It is the oldest and the largest treatment facility in the state. We treat about 90 million gallons per day during an average day, but we have the capabilities of treating about 350 million gallons per day at Morris Forman. So we have identified several sources and several projects at Morris Forman. For example, one of the largest projects that we have in design and construction is replacing our biosolids facility there. We're putting in a new thermal hydrolysis project. It is a new state-of-the-art system that probably won't be done until 2027, but it's approximately $255 million of investment. That is on top of investments that we've already made in replacing our dryer system and work that we're doing to improve the sedimentation basins there at Morris Forman. All total, when we get through this project, just at Morris Forman alone, we'll be spending over $500 million. And so it takes time to do these complex projects, but they will help us long term with odor mitigation at the Morris Forman plant and in other areas. I mentioned the biofilter rehab that we did at the main diversion, which is another source area that we were focused on. And again, our crews internally were able to come and do a rehab of that biofilter system, very responsive, and it has already made dividends to improve odors around the main diversion. The primary source of odors in the community are coming from what we call catch basins, and particularly in our combined sewer system. Those are the traps or the drains that are on the streets and takes on stormwater. We have some catch basins in our combined sewer system that are what we call untrapped, which basically means it does not have a water barrier to prevent gases from coming out of the sewer system. We do have a good number of our catch basins that are trapped, meaning that it does have a water barrier that blocks gases from coming out of the system. The issue is that we have, I don't know if we've got a number, but thousands of catch basins that are untrapped. And we have scheduled various projects in probably 8 or 9 different neighborhoods. And we also know that that's going to take time as well. But we have prioritized some work in those areas, doing inspections, doing investigations, and then putting those projects out to bid, and I'll talk about those in a second. But that is a primary source of odors that are getting into the community through our catch basins. Either they're untrapped or they're not functioning properly. And so we have to investigate, inspect, and then figure out the best path forward. I mentioned that it's a combined sewer system. It's a combined sewer system that was designed to take on rainwater and normal waste from businesses and residents. The challenge is that we have seen some periods, particularly during the summer months, and that's why we branded June through October, where we get long, dry, and very hot periods where we don't get that rain, and that doesn't allow the combined sewer system to get the flushing that it needs to be self-cleaning. And so we do know that during those dry periods, even if we have trapped catch basins, water can evaporate and cause odors to come out those trapped catch basins. So we respond when we get an odor complaint. Our crews, Tony back there, Tony Woods and Moti and all those folks, they respond. We have trucks that are out cleaning catch basins. We have folks that are putting water into catch basins. We even started our own water truck this year. Previously, we were contracting with outside water providers. Now we have our own water truck, and that truck is on a cycle in hotspot areas, and we're putting water in the system. So that seems to be helping as well. But when it comes to a combined sewer system, a lot of people always tell us, well, why can't you just put more water in the system? Why can't you get more water from the water company, or why can't you just pump water from the Ohio River? So there's a lot of things that are out there, but the one thing we do know is that, just an example of water from the water company, this shows you a graph that goes back to 1970. And the bar graph in blue shows you the level of usage within the Louisville water system dating back to 1970. So over the last 50 years, you can see that the consumption or the usage of water has not increased. But when you look at the number of accounts in the red line that shows you kind of where we are in terms of the number of customer accounts, the system has almost tripled in terms of size of customer accounts. So during a long, hot, dry period, you're getting more solids in the system, you're not getting rain, and you're not getting more water from the water company. So if we were going to try to get more water from the water company, it would be a lot of water to be able to do the flushing that a combined sewer needs. An example would be, we know that when we get a 2-inch rain event, that produces about 2 billion gallons of runoff that gets into our system. And so that gives us a very good self-cleaning of the combined sewer system. For example, the Louisville water daily consumption is about 150 million gallons a day. We would need almost 2.5 to 3 weeks of Louisville water's usage to be able to meet or match a 2-inch rain event. And so a lot of times we tell folks we really need a good rain, and it really helps out when we get those rain events. We are not sitting on our hands waiting on rain, but it is part of the formula when we talk about odor mitigation in a combined sewer system. Some other stuff that we are continuing to do, we are continuing to work with the water company when they're flushing fire hydrants, flushing them in areas where we are getting odor complaints. Our crews deodorize sewer mains and also manholes and catch basins whenever we get calls. I mentioned we're utilizing the water truck that we now have ourselves. And we're, in addition to replacing catch basins that are untrapped, we're also replacing damaged catch basin plugs as well. We're working with Mike Brazel's shop and Brian Bingham in operations to look at how we can adjust our chemical feeds at our pump stations and treatment facilities to try to get ahead of that, and that is something that will be ongoing year-round. Our catch basin replacement program, there are a series of projects that are complete. There's also a lot still under construction or in the bidding process. We know that right now there's about 410 catch basin replacements covering 6 neighborhoods that will be done by the end of 2025. This list just kind of shows you the status of some of them. We have actually completed the work in Park Duval. About 20 catch basins we completed there. We're doing work now in the California neighborhood. Phase 1 and 2 are complete, and phase 3 will be completed by June of next year. In the Shawnee area, we've got 3 phases, I should say 6 phases. Phase 1 and 2 is under contract. We'll be starting construction next month. And the rest of the projects, phases 3, 4 through 6, the estimated completion of that will be later next year. In Chickasaw, we have completed the inspections, and we will start that work, and it should be done by December of 25. Likewise, in Taylor Berry, we have completed the inspections, and the replacement of those catch basins will be done by December of 2025. We started a project in conjunction with a development on Market Street in the downtown business district to make sure that we were coordinated and replaced 19 catch basins there. That will be done in December of this year. And in the Russell neighborhood, we've completed the inspection, and there's approximately 747 catch basins that need to be replaced. And these are costing us anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000 per catch basin. So you can do the math on that. It's about a $15 million project that currently is not in our current fiscal year budget or our fiscal year 26 budget. But we will be programming that into our capital improvements over the next several years. We're talking with our engineering group to figure out how we can set aside some appropriations for catch basin work that's not designed or scheduled to be done here, so that we can be responsive to specific areas where it is a nuisance in certain communities. And so even though these are programmed in and we have a schedule for those, we have to get all these done by the end of fiscal year 26, except for the ones in Russell, and we'll be scheduling those as soon as we can in our capital budget. A lot of folks ask us, okay, I have odors in my home. And we try to explain to folks that there are a lot of different sources and a lot of different pathways for odors to impact the community. The most common way is the catch basins that we just talked about. And normally if it's coming from a catch basin, you're going to smell it out near the street. There's other sources, particularly inside a home, through a basement floor drain or through a downspout that may be connected to the system as well. And odors can vent through those as well in a home. So we always try to work with folks when they call in and say they have odors inside their home to figure out if they have a floor drain or if they have a laundry sink or something in the basement that's not does not have a water barrier to prevent that gas from entering their home. So it's a lot of communication and a lot of understanding to make sure folks understand the sources. As far as communications, like I said earlier, this is the 5th scheduled meeting that we've done during this odor season. And we've done a lot of communication to folks directly through postcards or letters. We sent out about 50,000 letters announcing odor season. We send out another 50,000 announcing when we will be having the meetings. We send more direct postcards to areas where folks, if there's particular meetings or particular things going on at our facilities. We just had something come up last week with Morris Foreman where we knew operationally we were going to be doing some things, so we put a notice out through air pollution control and other areas to make sure folks knew that because of what we were doing at Morris Foreman is going to lead to odors, I think at least for another week or so. So we're trying to be more progressive and more responsive in that way. If we have Metro Council members that contact us to come to their meetings and talk, we do. We've started going to a bishop's table, which is at the Gospel Missionary Baptist Church. There we get to interface with a lot of different folks in the church communities, and we welcome any opportunities to go out and speak to churches. And our schedule is really bulking up, and I want to thank Kevin Gibson and Wes and our communications team for handling those meetings. Very helpful for us. We have teamed up with the mayor, Mayor Greenberg. He, along with his press conference that he normally does every week, he invites us in periodically to give an odor update, which we did this year. I think we did one back in July of this year. Very great response. We got a lot of good media coverage out of that. We've done an op-ed in the Courier Journal. We're doing social media updates. We've even established a QR code to our information in our pamphlets so folks can get information about what's going on. And we understand that this is a complicated issue, but it's an issue that we're really focused on and we're prioritizing. Through our clAIRity program, we encourage folks still to report an odor if they smell something by calling 540-6000. They can also contact us through louisvillemsd.org/odor. or they can continue to use the Smell My City app. But what we're asking folks is to make sure that they leave us some contact information. A lot of the odor complaints that we were getting in '23, we would get a odor complaint, but we did not have a location or contact information to be able to follow up with folks. And that's something that we have emphasized this year and going forward is that we just don't want to get an odor complaint. We want to know where it's coming from, how can we get back in contact with folks and let them know what we have done. That's one of the complaints that we got in some of our earlier meetings. People didn't know what we did or when we did it. And so we're trying to encourage folks to leave information so we can get back to them. So we have done a lot. We know that we still have a lot of work to do. We have committed to do work under the amended agreed order with the Air Pollution Control District. And all I can tell you is that we're going to continue to get better. Already we've seen approximately a 25% reduction in odor complaints from last year to this year. We're going to continue to pray for rain because we know that that's part of the solution. But even if it's not raining, we have a team of folks that are responsive and ready to do more and help, particularly in the hotspot areas that we've identified. We know the catch basin work is something that is going to work a lot in areas that have experienced these issues. And so we're committed to doing that work. And we're even now starting to do some additional type of testing in our system. A foul odor extraction test. We're doing a test around our new storage basins for the combined sewer basins that we have. When we dewater those and we pump that into the system, that causes odors. So we're studying how we can reduce odors in that area. So we've got a lot going on, and we're going to continue to do that. We have heard the community, we have heard their concerns, and we're going to continue to be out there and try to address issues as quickly as we can. So this is the final cLAIRity meeting for this odor season, but we're available to meet with folks anytime to have that conversation. And at this point, I will just stop and see if there are any questions from anybody. I know I've seen you before, so I know you've been to other meetings. So do you have any questions? Yeah, well, you know, it's very interesting because we kind of knew that Park Duval, I mean, obviously, we appreciate you and everybody, and of course, your council member has been very vocal, and that's why we prioritized that area first, and we got that work done. And we're continuing to work with Councilmember Hawkins, Councilmember Purvis, and others. And, you know, we get a lot of complaints in the downtown business district, Old Louisville. We're responsive, and we respond all over the city. All right, well, we encourage folks to call us and just recognize that we are not the only source of odors in town, but we will be responsive, and we are committed to doing the work that we said we were going to do. Hopefully, you know, you've heard us for a couple of years talk about what we were going to do, and hopefully you see that we're taking it very seriously. All right? Thank you, everybody.